Perfect. Okay. Got you. No, I think I'm good on my end. I'll just kinda watch your stream, and I usually just have mine focus on crashes, so if something happens, I'll, say, "Hey, the 21 just wrecked," or whatever, and that way you kinda know who to jump to, but other than that, I think I'm good. That's my plan, hopefully. Exactly. Oh, no, Carmen just wrecked. It's so weird seeing my car out there with my paint scheme and me not in it. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Oh, no. Yeah, she asked me, and I was like, "Well, you can run one of mine or you can run your own, like, I don't care." And she's like, "Yeah, just send me what you have." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, the red Craftsman. I'll run that one." I'm like, "Alright." 'Oh, yeah. It's crazy.'" Your thing says stream pause. I know you're probably working on other stuff in the background, but just yeah. Okay. 'Yep. Mhm. Yeah, 132, that's about what I would run. Hey, I wouldn't even bring the car back, so that's better than I would do here. Yeah, same. 10-4.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fine evening here for the A Squared Cups Midwest Barbecue Cup Series here at the Chicago Street Course, just a little bit of ways away from July 4th. We are here rocking it up in Chicago for well, the Chicago Street Course here on ABN1, not ABN2, for the first time in a little bit. My name is Kevin Young, as always, here to bring you the action. And tonight, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Mr. 600, Mr. ARCS. You could say a lot of nicknames for this man, but he's definitely someone that you know in ARCS quite well. It is Mr. Ryan Pinnell. Ryan, why don't you say hello to the fans?
Yeah, what's going on? I'm glad to be here. Definitely do not need to be on the racetrack, so I decided to get with Carmen and get her to sub for me tonight, and I didn't have anything else going on, so I was like, well, why not come up here and call this race? So I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a great race tonight.
Hey, you provide some valuable insight. You've run most of the season right now, and you can definitely tell us about the haves and the have-nots. Even though I've watched most of it, I can definitely give some good insight about who's worth voting and who's worth keeping an eye on as they run around. But as we are joined right now, we are in the middle of qualifying, and right now the person that was at the top of the board is now top of the board in qualifying. It is Zach Millett, who just set a 128.43 for his troubles, rocking a paint scheme that, in this very turbulent time in a political climate, I think it's definitely someone we can all get behind in a political campaign. Millett, Hagan, Gaiman, Michelle, Featherplace, your top 5 as we speak. There's still some drivers yet to put down times yet, including Lilac Zier and even the fill-in driver, like you said, Carmen Sienna, rocking your ruby red Craftsman paint scheme.
Yeah, it's still very strange to see my car out there with someone else driving it, but hopefully she can do good. I know she's pushing to try and get a good starting spot, so hopefully she can at least turn a lap. You know, that's sometimes half the battle, just turning a clean lap.
It's about consistency at road courses, and you'll see that talk to a lot of drivers when they run hyper formula, other things. Just about putting laps down, being consistent, and getting good times. A lot of these drivers, you could say, maybe not the fastest at the road courses, but sometimes they're just there at the end if chaos erupts and they're ready to strike. As Sienna's going to finish her second lap here, we'll see if she can get your Ruby Red 12 any higher up the field here. She comes across the line. Only going to be good enough for 19th, though. So she's going to have to come from way in the back if she wants to make a run. Millett about to finish his second run here as well. And we'll see if he can improve on his time, making him further up the field. Across the line, it looks like it's all purples flashing up my screen. And he will improve a 128.08. So I think we'll pivot on nicely to, we'll do Jonathan Adams here. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks running a Cyberpunk skate scheme. As he gets a little bit loose off there on exit, that's going to kill his run here.
Yeah, this is a really tough track. I mean, if you get too hard on the brakes, it's going to snap loose on you, and then you're trying to get back in the gas as quick as you can, and then it gets loose off corner exit. I mean, it's a really tough track. It's a lot of fun, but really tough.
As someone that's never been good at road courses, it's always a bit of a tough situation no matter what car you pilot around in them. But they are fun, at the very least. They can be definitely entertaining to see. So as Adams completes his first of 2 runs here, we'll see where he can slot his number 8 machine. Looks like lap was invalidated, so it looks like he'll have to go around and do a second one. And that puts the pressure on with a minute and some change, because if you invalidate your first lap, which some use as a banker lap, it always puts pressure on the second lap, and if you make an invalidation, he's going to be starting at least P23, if not further back.
Yeah, it's really tough because obviously with qualifying, if you do even just touch the wall a little bit, it's going to invalidate your lap. So you have to be really clean, but you're still trying to push, obviously, to get a fast lap. So it's a very fine line that you have to walk to try and get a fast lap and not have that lap invalidated.
Yeah, it's about pressing and pushing on the edge, but not over-committing and making a mistake. And we saw last year, obviously, you driving the race last year, me calling it along with Carmen Sienna, we saw a lot of drivers that just got on that limit and just got a little bit too far over the edge. They ended up spinning out, hurting the qualifying run, or even in the main race. You know, Josh Gaiman probably isn't going to be too thrilled me bringing this up, but he came out of the pit lane on cold tires. He looped it, and that took him out of the race and took him out of contention for winning. So you got to make sure you keep it on throttle and know where your limits are, but at some point you have to push over it. So as Jonathan Adams coming across these last couple corners here, just got the short run up here. One more corner to go before he crosses the start-finish line here. He and Lilac Zier, the last 2 to put times down. We'll see if either can beat Millett. As both Zier comes across the line now, will she jump any higher? She will not. Actually, she will. She'll go to P13. And as Jonathan Adams in the depth of it, where can he slot it? It's going to be good enough for P7, so good second lap there for the 8.
Yeah, and for everyone that watched last year, y'all know we had a very controversial finish here last year, so hopefully we don't have to deal with that tonight afterwards when I go back into the race control booth. But Yeah, it was a pretty wild finish last year, and hopefully this year's a little bit better.
Yeah, obviously these drivers hoping for a good finish here. Obviously, no controversy. You don't want to win like that, and we'll see a good finish. Session is now officially complete. It's going to be Millet, Featherplace, Hagen, your top three, as we are going to get ready for the warm-up here. Now, transitioning nicely into the warm-up here, drivers have 5 minutes, and we'll cover over a little bit of the news. We already talked about some of the driver situations and how they're slinged up, but now we're going to go over the points here and see how they're all shaking up right now as we speak within the time remaining. Obviously, right now, looking at the situation, you can see a lot of the drivers are beginning to find their form and beginning to get in and locking themselves in green to at least have a chance to contend for the playoffs. But, obviously, if you're on the outside looking in, you have to get in the top 16 to do that. And right now, though, with Emma Kruger not here tonight, she will officially lose her eligibility for the playoffs, and she will be on the outside giving Stefan Oberstadt last spot in at the moment. And the question is, can some drivers a little bit further back, even you, Ryan, maybe jump your way into the top 16?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, that's kind of why I used a sub, just trying to – obviously, I knew that I was not going to be competitive tonight, so trying to, get somebody that's a little bit faster than me just to have a chance to – even if Carmen finishes 12th or 13th, I mean, that's a huge day. So – and the points are so tight, and obviously now with Emma being ineligible, Pacey's not eligible as well, so I should jump him. Mike LaJoy is not sure. I don't think oh, he is here tonight. Okay, so that's a bummer, but hey, we'll get the points where we can get them, and hopefully Carmen can get the 12 car some points tonight, and we'll see what it looks like after the race.
It definitely help out in the owner standings and the team standings as well, and the constructor standings on the road. But it is very close indeed with Markowski and Oberstadt tied, and then Michael Joy 4-6 back. It could all come down to Daytona for a lot of these drivers, and don't count out when we get to those high banks in a couple weeks. Don't count out a Mark DeLayla and Austin Mongol, to Mike Lawrence, nothing to lose. They could, even you, Ryan, as well. Don't want to count you out. If there's a situation where they get on the chips down and they get in, they could easily shake it up. And looking how close it is with Oberstadt, Markowski, and Stefan Oberstadt, easily one driver bouncing in could cause catastrophic effects throughout the ripples on the standings.
Yeah, for sure. That's what makes Daytona such a crazy race. I mean, obviously if I get to Daytona and I'm still outside of the top 16, you better believe I'm going to be making some moves that I probably wouldn't in a regular, circumstance. But hopefully I don't have to do that. But if I do, that's what makes Daytona crazy.
Indeed, that's where the chips are down, and that's why it makes a great cutoff race. With some time remaining, we're going to bring in our in-car race reporter here, Seth Wanzing. He's great. He's been great to us to avoid his perspective of what he saw. So we'll bring him in now and hear his thoughts about tonight's festivities. Seth, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Kevin, I gotcha.
All right, a little bit left to go in warm-up here at the street course. Obviously, we talked a little bit earlier in the year, and you were trying to find your footing on the road courses. Even at Sonoma in the HTL Cup Series, you ended up getting a top 5. So how do you feel about the road course tonight? Anything we should know as a viewer at home?
It's going to be really tight, really chaotic on restarts. Once we get spread out, it should be okay, but everybody's got different skill sets. As I clobber the wall. That's great. Everybody's got different skill sets. Everybody's got their braking zones and braking points and what all they can do here. I'm hoping to come away with a top 10. It's really bumpy through here, and even when the car will look loose through the bumps, and it's really just the bumps, it'll get the car up off the ground and get you all sorts of sideways. So maintaining the race car, keeping it off the wall. The toe links are really sensitive to these walls, so as long as we can do that, I hope to come away with a top 10 and just be consistent and stay on track.
Hey, I was going to say, you're making good pace right now, and there's a chance, obviously, if you get some good points here, you could lock yourself up in a playoff before Daytona hits. But obviously, Ryan, since you are the guest here, anything else you want to ask your in-car reporter before we get ready here?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm so glad I'm up here in the booth and not down there with y'all. I'm looking forward to next year where hopefully I can be up here all the time. But obviously this car is really, really hard to drive. It's a fun track, but what kind of handling is it, like going into the corners and exiting? It looks like y'all are getting really loose on corner exit. How's your car handling?
With the gears, Ryan, it's really weird in these cars. It is loose. For me, it's loose on entry because the way, Ryan, you know this, I like to get as deep as I can into braking zones because, wow, and I tried it again right there.
Ooh.
Yeah. I try to push the braking zones as much as I can, and that's what warm-up and practice is for. So for me, it's loose on entry because I have a lot of rear towards the brake of the car, so it'll turn better for me on entry. And the more speed I feel like I can carry on entry, the more I can let the car roll through the corner instead of having to stab the gas to carry speed through it. So it's loose on entry. Depending on where you hit the bumps or when you get back in the gas, it's loose on exit. You got to kind of have that dirt car throttle under, egg under the throttle off the corner. But to me, it's loose on entry and exit. And then depending, I mean, with the way the steering ratio is and everything, and the bumps, you're just the way you turn the car can make it steal because it's up and down and high on the shock so much because of the bumps and the shocks that they have for here that it's really sensitive through that portion. So really, really difficult to navigate, and I think the best driver will win.
Absolutely. Well, good luck, buddy. I mean, hopefully you will that thing into a top 10 or maybe even a top 5.
I hope so. Ryan, glad you get to just relax today. Kevin and you have a great call. Hope everybody at home grabs himself a cold adult soda, some dinner, or if you're underage, just regular soda, and enjoy the show. Should be really chaotic. Be some surprising people up front, and with the way these corners are, someone gets a track blocker, takes a few people out. You never know who could end up at the front of this thing.
All right, well, you have a good race, and we'll hopefully hear you by the end of stage number 2. You take care, Seth.
Thank you, Kevin. You guys have fun.
And that was Seth Wanzing, our in-car reporter. So we're going to take a quick look at the starting grid here, and we're going to see who exactly is where coming into tonight. Obviously, right now, I have to flip back to the top, but on pole position, once we get to the top, you'll see it is Zach Millett taken away with Brandon Featherplace in row number 1. John Hagan and Josh Gaiman will be in row number 2. Daniel Michelle and Cody Pinnell in row number 3. Jonathan Adams and Ross Baxter in row 4. Brett Roberts and Kevin Phoebes in row 5. John Sears and Jerry Breo rounding out the first 6 rows. As you are the guest, Ryan, why don't you take us through the rest of the starting grid here?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't hear where you finished, but
row
Tom
6.
Sears.
Yep, row 6.
Row 6. All right. So Tom Sears in 11th, Jeremy Brialt starting 12th. Mike LaJoy will be in 13th. Lilac Zier, my teammate, in 14th. Byron Jones subbing for Dale Markowski in 15th. Seth Wansing, who we just talked to, starting 16th. Selena Thompson also subbing in 17th. Davey Hauk in 18th. Mark Dila in 19th. David Wright 20th. Austin Mongold will be starting 21st. Carmen Sienna in that 12 car 22nd. 23rd will be Michael Lawrence Jr. 24th, Stephen Oberstadt. 25th, James Kerr. 26th, Josh Battles. And then 27th will be Tristan Catania.
And that is how the field is going to fire off here tonight. Obviously, we got a little more time before they get around here and we get going. Any quick predictions you want to throw out for who you think is going to win this race? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is, Ryan? Since you are an expert around here, or at least with these drivers, who do you think is going to be the favorite to win tonight?
I think Zach Millett's going to be hard to beat. I think Joshua Gaiman will be competitive. I think Featherplace will be a sneaky one. I think Cody Pinnell also is going to be right up there. But if I had to put a bet on anyone, I would probably bet Zach Millett.
Honestly, you take my prediction there. Zach Millett is definitely the odds-on favorite here tonight. But you know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm gonna go Brandon Featherplace. He's been knocking on the door here of finding a way to victory lane, and I like the odds he will find his way here tonight and finally get that first elusive win this season. And for being someone that's filled in early in the year and doing it great, it's gonna be quite an interesting treat to see if he can get that first win again here. So anyway, we're going to see them come through the last couple corners here. Millet and Featherplace are going to be the first cars on row number 1. Remember, control will be on the drivers. They'll be on the flag here. After that, will be on the pole sitter's control. Not going to see many cautions tonight, as it is unlikely to see them. If we do see one, that could be the reprieve. Pace car is going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane, as we are going to get this thing ready to go. Green flag is out, and the DRS 100 here at Chicago Street Course is underway.
10-4. 10-4. Yeah, it's a beautiful track. Mm-hmm. Ten four. Yep. Coming to lap 2 here, Zach Millett still in the race lead. John Hagan in second. Joshua Gaiman and Brandon Fetterplace battling for that third position right now. Zach Millett already showing his dominance. He is already out to almost a 2-second lead here after just one lap here at Chicago Street Course. Looks like my prediction might be paying off here early on.
Hey, that is definitely something worth noting. Looks like something has happened a little bit further back here with Selena Thompson. She has spun, and obviously a fill-in role for Ryan Gomes here tonight. Austin Mongold also had a piece as well. As you can see, he's a little bit further back here in his Caterpillar machine. One other thing to note as well, our in-car reporter, Seth Wanzing, he's had a bit of an accident here. You can see his front clip torn off. So we'll take a look here on the replay, see exactly what happened. He's going to have to burn that fast repair early here. It's something you do not want to do. So we'll take a look here. You can already see the effects of what happened, but it makes you wonder, did he make a mistake or did he get some help here? We'll wind out here. It looks like he's pretty much alone. We'll see if we can get a wider shot here, and then we'll play it at full speed and see exactly what happened to 9. Oh, it did not break.
Oh, yeah. Just
went hard.
Way too hard into that corner.
Luckily, he didn't have to tow, so at the very least, he won't lose a lap. And with the stages being short around here, just needs to keep the foot in, but he will not have that fast repair in his back pocket if he needs it. Back up towards the front, you can see Mac Millett pulling out here, but looking a little bit further back here, you can see it's been getting pretty racy for second. Gaiman has worked his way up to second place here.
Yeah, Gaiman's really fast, and I mean, he's fast everywhere, honestly, but road course is definitely his strong suit, and John Hagan also fast in pretty much everything. Oh, he blows the corner there. The 81, he's in the tire. Oh, and Featherplace is around.
Yeah, look at that. Featherplace has spun right there a little bit. He's kept it going, but John Hagan, he also had to fire it up too. It's just how a change of action can change. And now they're both currently 5th and 6th instead of 3rd and 4th. And now they're back trying to keep their position. Even further back, you can see your own cousin there, Cody Pinnell. He's under pressure a little bit further back. Actually, that wasn't even Cody Pinnell. That's someone else. As they are fighting here with Jeremy Braille just inside the top 10.
Yeah, so many battles out here. Oh, that was Jonathan Adams hard into the wall there. Just saw that, the 8 car. I mean, it's such a fine line. Like, if you push too hard, you're going to hit either a wall or a car or tire barriers. It's just, there is no room to make a mistake here.
Again, this is obviously a certain situation. Obviously, you are a team owner of Presidential Racing. Even though it is the virtual world, it makes your virtual pockets quite hurt seeing a lot of these cars get scraped up and damaged by pushing out and making mistakes here. Looks like Seth Wanzing's had another mistake here as well. Coming back to him just as he looks like he's locked it up, but luckily didn't hit anything of note. But we're going to cut back up to the top 2 here, seeing again Gaiman is slowly reeling in. Fastest 3rd sector there on the field, and they are pulling away. Gap of 5 seconds to the car in 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Millett, Josh Gaiman, those are 2 that are just so solid everywhere we run, really, but especially on road courses. Zach Millett really known for his short track racing, so it's kind of crazy to see him be so fast here on road courses, but he is just a very talented race car driver.
As we just saw, that may have given a little bit of a curse to Gaiman there, saying he was catching. He just had a bit of a kick-out moment there, and he just gave the wall a little bit of a kiss, almost like a drift trap, if on a certain drifting certain situation. Anyway, we'll cut a little bit further back here. A lot of cars lighting up the scoring board. Sears, Adams, Jones have all had little incidents here, but they've gotten them fired up. No major.
Oh, David Wright just got the 84 Bryn Roberts.
Yeah, look at that right there in corner 1. See if we pull up a replay, but look at his rear end there. That thing is damaged badly, so he got a good old shunt in that Mountain Dew machine. We'll actually take a quick look and see what exactly happened. So you can see Brian Roberts already with a torn up front end, but you can see right there, right in position, battling right around on track with Lawrence behind. It's just going to be David Wright getting a little too overzealous, gets in the corner of Roberts, and they both get around, and Lawrence gives him a little shove.
Yeah,
for his
got him.
there. So back to live action we are, and you can see it's just getting very chaotic here. Stage obviously still a little bit of ways away, but that top 10 has basically been shuffled out so many times that it's pretty much anyone's game to get stage points.
Yeah, it really is, and you never know. I mean, anything could happen at any moment, and some of these drivers in the top 10, obviously, we saw a lot of these cars already have some serious damage. We saw the 84 and the 42 with some pretty bad damage, so I mean, this race is obviously very early on, but anything could happen here at this street course.
Stage 10, lap 10 is when the first stage ends here, so we're about halfway done with the first stage here. We're going to cut a little bit further back here. The last 2 points on stage right now between Lilac Sear and Kevin Feemster. Kevin Feemster was a driver that you could say last year was someone that was sneaky around this track. He was top 5 for most of the night, even though he wasn't really making many waves. And you could probably argue that race was the reason he ended up making the playoffs by just getting just enough points and outlasting the competition.
For sure. And Tom Sears in the 14 car is on pit road, and he was smoking coming to pit road. So not sure what happened to him, but obviously some heavy damage, and that's going to be his fast repair right there.
Yeah, we'll take a look here, just because, again, while I'm track on track, we'll see again. It looks like problem 1 in corner again. And Ryan, let's see exactly what happened here. Why don't you tell us exactly what happened?
Yeah, he's coming into 1 here. Looks like he's on the low end of Jonathan Adams. He just sends it too hard, and then I mean, that's just and the 33 involved as well. That's Byron Jones. Just one of those deals. You send it in too hard, you hit the brakes, and nothing happens.
He had to go around a whole lap there with the engine smoking. Thank God it didn't let go. He was probably thanking his lucky stars that he was able to do it, but again, had to burn a fast spare for his troubles. And a lot of cars, again, just having problems early here, but luckily with the stage, again, with low cautions, the ability to get the field bunched back up isn't high. That's why you got to take advantage of the stages when you get them. We'll head up to P6 here between a nice little battle brewing here between Cody Pennell, Ross Baxter, and Jeremy Braille, all a bit under a blanket here as someone's trying to maybe find a way around here.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Ross Baxter this year. I mean, he's one of Matthew Kent's buddies that came over and started racing with us. And honestly, when he started, he did not have a whole lot of speed, and he has been doing so good this year in A squared. I've been really, really impressed with him this year, and he's up here running 7th right now. He's a rookie. I mean, he's tracking Cody down almost here for 6th. So great run in that 60 car tonight here at Chicago.
Yeah, you see that in every series. I can think of like HTL Cup Series as a driver in that one where you're like, they're a rookie. You don't know much about them. And they slowly just find speed over the course of the year. And they become kind of a threat by year's end, or at the very least for next season. Definitely someone that you want to keep an eye on your draft boards to draft for your team and maybe give yourself some good performance here. And right now, maybe showing himself as a bit of a good road course driver here as he's holding down 6th position at the moment, trying to catch Cody Pennell up the road here.
Yeah, and that's huge for next year when we do our draft for 2025. Obviously road courses are a big part of our schedule, and a lot of people struggle with road courses, including myself. So to see a driver really do well on a road course, that helps their draft stock a lot.
We saw, obviously, last year, Emma Kruger obviously was good at the road courses, and eventually she found her own team, and it's worked out quite nice. Obviously, again, with you going possibly into retirement next season, probably joining in the booth, obviously you may not have the ability to draft anymore. I don't know if A Square allows retirees to own teams. But at the very least, though, you've had some good picks of your driver pool over the last couple of years, and you definitely made some good inroads on that move here. As you can see, Braille, the owner of B-Tron, ready to try to make a move on Baxter.
Yeah, Jeremy's really fast on road courses. Got the spot here. It's just, entry of corner. A lot of people have different braking zones, so you have to be kind of careful. Some people will brake way sooner than you do. So Jeremy made a really good, clean pass there on Baxter and moves into the 7th spot.
Well, We'll cut a little bit further back here, just outside the top 10 here, right where 11th, 12th, and 13th. So getting a bit racier as well. Obviously, you can see on the long board here, top 10 is pretty spaced out for the moment. Everyone's kind of in their own little worlds here. But this is for the last spot, like last driver out right now at the moment is Kevin Feemster, who is slowly reeling down that. But John Hagan, actually, we're going to cut away. He's coming in the pits right now here on lap 8. Good shunt on the right side, but I wonder if maybe he's trying a different strategy here, possibly. We'll have to see how he elects to come in here. But maybe with the stage obviously ending in 2 laps' time, pit lane closing at lap 9, maybe try to preemptively get some extra track position here.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy. I mean, obviously, he kind of knows that he's not as fast as Zach Millett or Gaiman. You know, him and Daniel Michel pretty close on speed. It looks like he just kind of topped off on fuel. I didn't really see that he took tires there, so we'll have to see what happens with the 81 machine.
I've learned from the last couple road courses I've called, tires are not really in a premium around the Chicago street course. So, again, probably just a alt strategy here. When you have as many wins as John Hagan's had this year, don't really need it. You could take different risks, try different things to find your way in victory lane. Another driver with a long clock right now is Carmen Sienna. She also had a little bit of a spin here too. We'll see if she elects to. Yeah, she just came on in for a quick little parade down. Didn't even stop in her box. The way she'll fly, so she'll fall a little bit further back. Currently in 18th. One driver I'm keeping an eye on right now is Daniel Michel. He's caught up here to Josh Gaiman in second position. You can see Gaiman trying to make a run at Seth Wanzing, who's currently first car at 1 down.
Yeah, and Seth's got to just make sure he stays in front of James Kerr here for the stage break. He'll get that lucky dog. And even, I mean, this track is so long that lucky dogs, it's really hard to get your lap back. So hopefully they, you know, maybe extend it if they need to, because lucky dogs, it's really hard for you to get around, catch the field, and still be able to pit. So we'll have to see if that works out for Seth.
Daniel Michel, again, he was the winner of the bracket challenge, and he's currently poised to make the playoffs. If you get a win, you don't have to worry about it, but with Millett right now at the moment about 4 seconds clear, you want to get yourself that good spot so you can fire off when we get that restart just a little bit closer to the race leaders. You can see in the shot there, 4 seconds is not that far, and Gaiman and Michel are keeping it relatively close to Millett. As we work our way through the twisty bits here, right now it is still Zach Millett leading this race. The gap is falling between Gaiman and Michel. Next time by, leader will see the white flag in the stage. And you can see right now, bad news for Seth Wanzing fans, as he is gone, put another car lap down Zach Millett. As he's put Stefan Oberstedt, I believe, 1 down, actually 2 down, so it should not affect the lucky dog chase. But now, though, Gaiman is going to catch Stefan in a bad spot there. Could allow Michel a chance to make a run down the straight.
Yeah, it's really hard to pass cars here, especially when it's cars that are a little bit slower. You know, they're off pace. When you get to a turn, you know, you've hit it the same way every night, and now you have a car that's really slow in front of you. It's really hard to make that pass.
Michel going to try to go on the low side here to make a move in the 1, using the opportunity, momentum, locking up the rear brakes, but he will make it successfully through, and I think he's got a good chance to clear here.
Oh, Gaiman's, woo, sideways. He is on the brakes hard as you see the rear calipers lighten up orange like a firework, but they are not giving up here side by side. What a race here for second.
I thought Gaiman was dead to rights when he went that corner. Look at Michel trying to box
still
him.
battling.
Yeah, trying to box him out there. He'll get the spot, but he ended up hitting the wall quite hard. We'll see if that affected any performance, but Gaiman obviously knows he's going to have a fight on his hand. He's not ready to give up quite yet.
And Zach Millett's now got a 5-second lead. He's just loving this, obviously, and his relative just pulling away. But I think Michel has a little more speed than Gaiman, but Gaiman's not going to give up. He's a fighter. He's going to try and get that spot, especially coming to the stage end.
Yeah, Michel is definitely someone we've seen at road courses throughout last season, this season. Top 3 driver, but always there was someone just a little bit faster than him. But he's always been consistently getting good runs here. But is Millett's going to work his way through the last couple corners here. We'll focus on the battle for second here. Just see if Gaiman gets a last-second lunge to the last corner here. It looks like he's not going to be able to do it. So as Millett comes across the start-finish line, that will end stage number 1. Millett will take the stage victory. Michel second. Gaiman's going to come home in third. So the battle was won by Millett there. Feather place 4th. And as the rest of the drivers file off, it's going to be Cody Pennell 5th, Jeremy Braille 6th, Ross Baxter 7th, Lilac Sear 8th, Jonathan Adams 9th, and John Hagan will get the last stage point here. Actually, I think it may have went to Feemster. Regardless, though, that top 10 very shook up from where they qualified.
Yeah, and that's just some strategy. I mean, obviously, we saw the 81 come down pit road, so he may stay out here. I was just looking at the 12 car. It's got a little bit of damage. I was a little worried. I'm going to have to bring out the virtual checkbook and get that car repaired. But overall, a great stage. I mean, we had a few, incidents. Obviously, Seth, probably the biggest surprise. I mean, really tore up that race car, and Tom Sears as well. And with only one fast repair, obviously, they had to take those fast repairs. So if they make a mistake again in the rest of this, 40 laps that we have, they're done. I mean, that's pretty much game over. So got to be careful if you're those two drivers.
That changes your kind of mentality as well. You want to be aggressive, you want to get spots, but now, like Wansing, he'll be the first car one down, so he will get his lap back. Tom Sears luckily avoided going a lap down, so he will inherently stay on the lead lap. But at the same point, obviously, you can avoid your own errors, back up your lines, but at the same point, all it takes is one car spinning in front of you, making a bad move, ping-ponging off a wall, and it could end your day just like that. So you're only at the mercy of yourself, and you can only control your variables, but at the same point, you got to relax on others. But luckily, in Wansing's case, he's got enough of a cushion. He can't afford a bad day. As for Tom Sears, less as lucky. He's about 50 above the cut line. If he bleeds points here, it could be a tailspin.
Yeah, for sure. And same for like Steven Oberstadt. Obviously he was tied for the last spot with Dale Markowski. He's back there 2 laps down now. So his day is pretty much done, honestly. I mean, 2 laps down, that's hard to come back from at a road course. We just don't normally throw cautions. You got one more stage break, obviously, so that's 1 caution. But Seth, will get his lap back. 2 down, yeah, you can get to 1 down, but that's really hard to come back from.
Yeah, I'll just fill a point on the screen real fast just to show the viewers at home. And with Michael Joy running just outside the top 10, that could be easily a bleed point situation. So we can see, though, as I'll take the image off the screen, now drivers coming in the pit lane. John Hagan also coming in as well, so the off-sequence strategy did not work. As you can see on the wide shot, Kerr and Stefan Overstat both going to get a lap back as well by taking the wave around. The question is now, I assume most drivers are going to take fuel only here, but the question is, when do you want to take 4 tires?
Yeah, they may take them now. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss. I don't think they ran enough to really... I mean, they got off pit road pretty quick, so maybe 2 tire stop. I'm not sure. But I think you could wait till that second stage before you take tires. I know, last year, obviously I was slow, so I wasn't using my tires like the leaders were, but honestly, I probably didn't have to pit for tires the whole race. So you may not see tires on the second stage as well, but I feel like the second stage is, if they're going to take tires, that's probably when they're going to take them.
Honestly, I would be in the opposite strategy. I think I'd want the tires in the first stage, and obviously the fuel runs are a bit different here as well. There could be possibly a green flag pit stop in between to top off on fuel, because stage ends on stage 2, I believe, at lap 30, I want to say. Maybe 25. I will quickly check the record. It is 25, so it will be a 25-lap finish to finish here. And we saw right there a few drivers coming in elect to take tires. Josh Game, the only one really taking 2 tires there. We saw the Jackman take right sides for his troubles. Everyone else taking fuel. And
I think Sears stayed out. He's in the lead right now. Wow.
Sears obviously came in, took that fast repair, probably topped off, so he's good on fuel here at the very least, possibly get to the end of stage 2, and wants the track position, thinks he can work with the track position. But obviously, now not having that fast repair, if you get pressure from behind, it could force you into a mistake in his Toyota Camry here. That's already seen a lot of dirt on that Celtics paint scheme.
For sure. Bryn Roberts also in 4th. I believe he stayed out maybe. I don't know. He was back in 21st, 22nd, somewhere before those pit stops. Now he's in 4th, so... I didn't really check to see if he came down pit road, but I think he was still catching the field and just stayed out and came out in 4th. But that's a bold move, too. I mean, they're trying to get stage points, so they got to do what they got to do. But obviously, Bryn's going to be in a really tough spot here and maybe close on fuel, too.
Bryn's one of those drivers outside the top 16 at the moment, so any stage points will definitely help him. And you are correct, Ryan. Your observation was correct. He did stay out, came in at lap 5 to fix up some damage. Around the same time, Tom Sears came in a lap later, and then elected to come and stay out here and get a few extra spots. Obviously, Roberts no slouch on these road courses. Same thing with Sears, so maybe the strategy will work out for him. They can sneak a few stage points here. So we just got the one to go that time by. You can see the field get bunched up. James Kerr and Stefan Oberstedt both going to get their wave rounds here. Kerr and Oberstedt will now be both one down. So if they can stay out of trouble here, they both can get their laps back by the end of stage number 2.
Yeah, Bren's one of those where obviously he's also on my team and for presidential racing. It's one of those where like I'm rooting for him, but at the same time I'm not because he's behind me in points. So I want him to do well as a team owner, but as a driver, I'm like, hey, if you could not get more points than me, that'd be great. But it's one of those deals. So hopefully, Bren Roberts, this will work out for him, and maybe he can get some stage points.
You're definitely right now in the mindset if you want to see a millet. Obviously, you want your team to win. It's the greatest moment to see your team you win or your team win. But at the same point, though, sneakily, you're like, you know what? If we get a repeat winner, that's not the end of the world either. That's definitely something we can work with.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I never want to see a new winner, especially with how crazy the points are this year, and that's why Daytona I think is going to just be wild because somebody like you said, Austin Mongold, that's way back there in points could get a win at Daytona and lock himself in.
Yeah, and we saw it last year with Garrison. Joshua Garrison came within maybe a couple laps of doing just that. But then David Wright snuck in. He was the driver that had to win at Richmond to clinch his ticket in. So easily things can change up if you're not careful. As we're coming through the last bits of seconds here, we'll run over the top 10 real fast. It's going to be Sears, Millet, row 1, Michelle, Roberts, row 2, Featherplace, Hagen, row 3, Gaiman, Zier, row 4, Baxter, Feemster, your first 5 rows, with both Sears and Roberts electing to stay out. Josh Gaiman, only one on slightly fresh tires, so he elected to take 2 tires under his pit stop.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because obviously Tom Sears has some speed. I mean, he's not slow here. Bren Roberts has been struggling. Like we said, he was back there in 21st, had to fix some damage. So these two are not going to be obviously as fast as Millet, Michelle, Fetterplace, Gaiman, Hagen. So it's going to cause some stack ups, and that's where we're going to have some issues. And like we saw, the 14 was smoking. He took his fast repair already. So if he gets in an incident, it could be night over for him.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Remember, Sears ended up getting a podium last year at the street course. Pace car is on in. It's going to be on Sears' control. Green flag is out, and away we go for the second stage. You can see Sears go a little bit slow as some drivers get stacked up here. A bunch of cars in the back.
Oh, yeah,
way
bunch
back
in the
here.
Yep.
Adams.
Lawrence.
Everyone else got through okay, but you can see right there, Adams and Lawrence, they're going to have to get...
Oh, Fetterplace just hit the wall.
Oh,
Gaiman's around.
Oh, right there, you can see the effects of it. We'll take a look at that in a second, what happened. You can see right there, there's Featherplace right there, the major damage on that right side. And Gaiman's still stationary at the moment. There's Featherplace's car, there's Josh Gaiman. He's finally got it fired back up. The driver that finished 3rd in the stage is now, kind of right now at the moment, falling back to outside the top 20.
Yeah, it was a huge... I think Gaiman may have made a little bit of contact with Fetterplace. Like you said, we'll take a look at it, but that's just unfortunate.
So we'll take a look here right now. Obviously, we'll cut to the lead reel just to show you Millet and Michelle both got around Tom Sears here. And you can see Sears now currently sitting in 3rd with John Hagen hanging on behind here. So we're going to take a quick look here what happened to both those incidences. We'll first start off with Jonathan Adams' incident along with Michael Lawrence here. You can see Adams in the far shot here on the high side. As they come off into 1. Oh, Hawk locked up.
Oh, Davey just sent it.
And then Lawrence just missed his braking point. And obviously, Lawrence had, the 8 car of Adams had no clue what was happening. And we'll pause here just for a second because the next accident's just going to be up the road here at Brandon Featherplace. We'll play it out here, and you're just going to see, oh, Gaiman got a little bit loose. We'll actually just rewind here for a second. Play it out just here, and then we'll go here. You can see already the effects of Featherplace getting taken 3 wide here. 61 just gets on the end there and gets loose off exit, gets in the corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
And then Baxter just finishes 61 off of Gaiman, and then you can see Gaiman just has to wait for the whole field to come back around before he can back it up. So back to live action we are. Right now you can see John Hagan is able to get around Tom Sears. Now Sears and Roberts, though, the strategy has worked out. They're currently still sitting 4th and 5th, respectively. They've survived the major chaos, because if they pitted, they would have been right back where Adams was, right where Lawrence were, and they've actually taken advantage of the opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah, and Sears, I watched him. He hit the wall pretty hard. I don't think he has a meatball, but definitely probably affecting that car's performance just a little bit. That's why Bryn Roberts has kind of been able to close in on Tom Sears. But right now, like you said, I mean, that strategy worked out really well so far, but still 10 laps left here in this second stage.
We're going to cut back up to the lead here. You can see Michelle has taken this new lease on life he's got with the stage break, and he is right now on the back of Zach Millett here. So Michelle putting himself as a front runner here, someone that can bring a challenge to the 31.
Yeah, Michelle's fast. I mean, everywhere we go, but especially on road courses. And really, this is the first time we've seen Zach Millett not just be able to pull away. And sometimes it's, you know, especially with people that are fast, when you're able to look at people in front of you and see when they brake, when they, you know, get into the corner, you're able to go a little bit faster as well. So it looks like that may be happening with Daniel Michel right now, as he's right there with Zach Millett.
You hit the nail on the head there, Ryan, where you can use kind of like look and say, all right, Millett's braking here. I can get my line and brake there and know where I need to hit. You can just kind of follow the car ahead and really make your line work. Here's we're actually riding on board with 25 and seeing exactly what he sees. To kind of add to this point, you can see the fun fact at the bottom. It's been well over, not a year, but well over 6 months, maybe 9 months, since he's got his last victory, which was at Bristol during the chase. So he is very hungry to put this 25 back in victory lane, obviously, with a new team since he got that last win.
Yeah, that's crazy that it's been that long since Daniel Michel has won a race. He is very, very talented race car driver, so he is in contention tonight for sure. And he's hanging right there with Zach Millett. Probably the first time, honestly, all night we've seen someone be able to hang with Zach Millett.
And a scene you kind of could say, you can see some lurk in the distance. That's the 81. He is lurking the distance, ready to capitalize if something occurs. We're going to cut back just for a second here. We're going to keep an eye on this, but we're going to cut back here as we saw Cody Pennell and Bren Roberts. They're in a bit of a battle here as well, as they see Cody made a move here to get back into fifth position. And you can see right there, Bren Roberts not going away. So we'll focus on this for a second, but if things start kicking off the lead, we're going to cut right back.
Yeah, I just heard over the radio, Feemster's pitting. I think he was broke. So I'm not sure what happened to Kevin Feemster, but he obviously had some issues and had to come down pit road. There's another car back there in the background.
Yeah, that's Layla.
Yep, so both of those cars on pit road. So not a good night for the 21 or the 80 of Mark Dila.
They're both going to have to get those cars fixed up. Obviously, we'll see if anything happened. Car locked up big time, though. I think that was Cody Pennell. But this battle's still raging on here, as you can see the tires beginning to kind of fall off here. At least the strategy still working out for Sears, but Roberts is beginning to fall. And even further back, Davey Hawk and Selena Thompson fighting hard here for the top 10. And look, your 12 machine is right there trying to get in the top 10.
Trying to give me a stage point, and I believe in Carmen. I think she can get around Davey. We'll see what happens. We still got a lot of laps left, but we saw Davey in that first turn on the restart just absolutely send it. Still not sure what happened to that machine, but yeah, the 12 car up here battling for 10th. I love it.
Ooh, Tom Sears, big incident there.
Yeah,
way off, and I think he's going to come down the pit lane here. Well, he's going to try to, and he'll get it now. So we'll take a quick look, see exactly what happened. I think he just may have missed the
he might be done. He might be done.
We'll pull it out here, see what happened. Obviously coming through the last couple corners here, running all alone, so he's not going to get hit by anything, maybe other than the Phantom Ghost. Last corner here. Oh, he locked up.
Oh, yeah. Locked him up, and there goes the front bumper.
At this point...
the 12 and the 55 just made contact.
We'll go back to live action just in time to see this. Yeah, you can see Sienna with the little bit of a lump there. I'll actually just quickly do a quick rewind here using the power of video editing. We'll take a quick look here, just see what exactly happened there. Oh, that's a big shunt. So you can see side by side here, coming out of corner 2. Oh, Sienna tried to close the door, and Thompson just happened to be there.
Oh, no. Checkbook is still hurting here tonight.
Yeah, now Sienna, obviously, we heard, obviously maybe pulling the curtain behind the wall. She said that she wasn't, like, Selena already kind of gotten to her a couple times during the warm-up, so looks like her kind of prediction came true, and now both of them got into each other again. I don't think that 12 is going to be much happy with that 55. So, folks, on this, obviously right now lead has kind of grown to about a second, but Michelle is still keeping it honest, so nothing's really changed up front. Still keep monitoring that situation. Right now, this is kind of the spiciest thing we have on track at the moment. Battle between this and also something else raging on just inside P7 with Baxter and Sear. So as this kind of breaks up, we'll cut to Ross Baxter and Lilac Sear. There's Lilac Sear right there. Zoom in on the lavender, I think is the right word to call that car, as she's slowly chasing down the 60 of Ross Baxter.
Yeah, Lilac's been, I mean, that was probably the best pickup that I had in the draft. I mean, she has been so fast, so consistent all year long. You know, something that we really haven't had in presidential racing in a while, but she has just been very, very fast race car driver. She's, and it's no drama. You know, she doesn't cause any issues. You know, we know of some drama that happened with other drivers. She's just clean, does her thing, and gets good finishes.
Hey, sometimes that's all you need at a team right there. You want someone solid, stable, and not going to get their nose into things and cause fights. And overall, that's something a team can build off of and make it work. But you can see Robert's locked up a bit, but right now Lilac's here. She looks poised and she looks hungry. She really wants to make that move here. That's not the right angle I'm looking for. That's the right angle I'm looking for. As we'll ride on board with her on the hood camera. The rookie who...
Oh, the 12 just wrecked.
Oh, Carmen Sienna wrecked here. She had the toe, so obviously we see the
aftermath
of that. Oh, poor Ryan's checkbook. We'll take a quick look, see exactly what happened, and you can already see the effects of what was occurring. I think she may have been pushing just a bit too hard, so we'll play it out here. Yeah, it just locks up.
Oh, yeah, hard hit.
Good thing is I think she's... Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, yeah, that tire is done.
Oh, she shunts and almost got in LaJoy. That could have made some bad enemies there, but luckily Feather Place, Adams, and the rest will skate on through. But yeah, she didn't know she had 3 wheels until she was getting that next corner and like, this thing's not turning. Luckily though, like you were saying, Ryan, I think she still has that fast spare, so she should be okay at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think she'll probably go a lap down. She probably had to tow, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll try again next week.
I know. Yep. I know. Next week she has opening as obviously Winstel has 2 weeks off here. So and she loves Richmond. So maybe road course aren't her forte, but if she can find a ride for Richmond, she definitely will be someone to keep an eye on there. Lap 20 right now, and you can see right now battle on track raging on between 6th, 7th, and 8th here. As Zier again just slowly chipping away, but with it being a very single file track, there's not much you can really do with it.
Yeah, it's hard to make passes. It really is. I mean, you almost have to wait for the car in front of you to make a mistake and then capitalize on that mistake, whether it's hitting the wall or, you know, getting a bad exit. It's really hard to make a pass here.
It's about momentum and building it. And luckily, though, one thing that will help kind of Zier is you can see Baxter caught Roberts and Roberts caught Breo. So they're all in a bit of a train here as well. Just trying to make something happen. We'll cut back up 2nd place here as Michelle has just run a purple sector 1. He is beginning to slowly reel back in Millet here. We'll see if he can maybe sneak a stage win here as they're going to catch Stefan Oberstadt, maybe try to put him another lap down.
Yeah, rough race for Steven, but I'd be right there with him if I was out there. So, I mean, some of us just are not good at road courses. It's just our weakness, and that's just how it is sometimes.
Hey, welcome to the club. There's a reason I'm in the broadcast booth instead of driving mostly anymore because I know my strengths. It's Overstep clips.
Oh, no.
As I'll keep it clean, but that was a bit of a shunt there. Obviously, bad spot. Overstep just trying to get out of the way as quick as he could, but the speed differential kind of played a big factor there. And now Michelle is knocking. He's going to have a chance to make a run here down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, that really let him close in on Zach Millett, but I think Zach Millett is just a little bit faster, but like you said, I mean, Michelle's really been pushing it hard to try and get this stage win. I mean, he's very, very close. Just one mistake by Zach Millett, and Daniel Michelle's going to be right there.
Yeah, for reference, last time by, Michelle was slightly faster, but obviously maybe a bit of a factor with Millett getting into Oberstadt there. So we'll keep an eye on those laps as the laps tick by here next lap or two and see exactly if Millett can maybe keep that gap going, as they have pulled a big gap to third place Hagen, who's now 6 seconds back, and Cody Pennell is about 17 back. So right now I think if you're pulling a winner, it's probably going to be one of these two cars.
For sure. I mean, it's got to be. I think John Hagen could hang with him if, after this stage they all get bunched back up. He's got a shot, but he just doesn't quite have the speed as these top two. I think these top two, unless they make a mistake, it's going to be their race to either win or lose.
And it's worth noting as well, there is a road course in the playoffs this year, with Watkins Glen being the cutoff race. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. Being the cutoff race for the first round of the playoffs. So this could be definitely if you may have a bad first round at Darlington, this could be your saving grace from Michelle, who was strong at Darlington last year. Zach Millett, obviously, we don't have enough information. Obviously, we see him be very strong at every track he's been, but don't have as much information about him knowing how he is at other tracks. So it could be worth noting this could be the parachute if you have a bad first round.
For sure, yeah. I mean, again, road courses are almost kind of like Daytona. I mean, they're kind of a wild card. You have people that may struggle at oval races that they come out here on these road courses and just shine. And you see John Hagen coming down pit road.
Yeah, he is coming in again. We saw him do it last time at the end of the stage. Now, we thought it was try to get off sequence, but he came in anyway at the end of it. Unless he's got a meatball per se. We'll see keeping on his damage clock. Jeremy Braille also went in the far shot as well, so maybe a bit of B-Tron teamery here. And obviously Braille, not even a scratch on that car. You can say that thing is almost in pristine position. What it probably rolled off the truck with.
Yeah, he's had a clean race so far, and that's half the battle sometimes here at these road courses as Joshua Gaiman also comes down pit road. So maybe some strategy here for some of these drivers. Maybe going to try and stay out and try and get the race win for the last, 25 so laps to the finish.
Mm-hmm. And right now, again, the 31 has caught more traffic here as he's now got both the 21 and the 47 just up the road here. So he's going to have to work his way around quickly, or that could open the door. Luckily, Feemster is going to quickly kind of move there and get out of the way. But at the same point, though, and it's actually going to get right in front of Michelle. So it's actually helped out that 31 quite a treat here. Now the 47 just plays ball as well, and he could have a big of a cushion here.
Yeah, he really did a good job getting around the lap cars there and does a good job getting around the 47 as well, and just kind of pulled away from Daniel Michelle. He just wasn't able to, unfortunately, get around Feemster, which Feemster's now entering, I think, a closed pit, so he'll probably get a penalty there. But Zach Millett's he's just so fast here.
He is. He's shown a lot of pace here. But obviously, Michelle can't come out for the final stage, as I've seen tons of races where you say driver look poised to win, something happened, and next thing you know, you're trying to make a quick recovery drive here. So we can't count anything out yet, but Millett's looking poised. Michelle, though, has definitely put the seam on notice. And also looking at third position, your cousin right now is holding it down in P3.
Yeah, good podium finish if he can hold it there. Obviously, Hagen, I think, probably a little more speed than him, but on a different strategy. So we'll see what Cody can do here in the finishings of this race here at Chicago. But I think this last restart's where it's going to get really crazy.
Mm-hmm. We're going to cut a little bit further back just at the end. This is what we're looking at for the final stage points right now. You see Feather Place currently last driver not with the stage point there in that black and red machine. We're focusing on Selena Thompson right now, who's currently in 10th. And you can see Beams up the road, but Hawk, Jones, and Thompson, two sub-drivers in both Jones and Thompson. And then you got regulars, Feemster and Hawk, one up and one down. As you can see, Jones getting a good run there. Going to try to make a move in that 33.
Yeah, Fetter Place has been, we saw he had the incident with Gaiman, and he has driven back from, I think he fell back to almost 18th, and now he's back to 11th. So he is, obviously there's a lot of speed in that 34 car, so we'll have to see if he can make his way past a few more drivers when this stage ends.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, looks like Michelle's had a bit of an incident. He's lost some speed, and look at that right front. It's a little bit crinkled, so I think he may have locked up going into corner one. We'll take a quick look just to confirm it, and obviously we'll play it out here. And you just see, I think he's just going to lock up in one as that right front looks very pristine. I think we're about to see a big black eye appear. Yeah, just locks up and straight
Ooh,
on.
yep. Yeah, that's unfortunate for the 25. Just got to keep it clean. I mean, I know he's trying to close on Zach Millett, but you're still running second. Just keep the car clean and set yourself up for a good finish.
And the same point, that may have hurt his hand here, because if he's got to fix that car, that could cost him some track position for the final stage. And with the likelihood of cautions not being high, every position matters. And if you get stuck behind, let's just say you, with your damage repair, you get put down to 6th, you then have to cut your way through the field quickly. And at that point, Millett could be 3 up the road, and you're going to have to push hard to try to get caught back up. But as we see right now, as they come, Millett's going to come to the last couple corners here. No one really ahead of him, no one really behind him. As he hits the last corner, he will win stage number 2. He will sweep the stages. And is looking poised to try to sweep the races. Now we have hit 25 to go just as he crossed the line.
Yeah, great run by Zach Millett. That's, I mean, he's the one to beat at this point. I mean, Daniel Michel was able to stay with him a little bit, but really that's the only driver I've seen be able to even stay close with him this far.
We look at the times, that definitely shows when you see the timing board. They're the only 2 drivers right now at the moment in the 127 bracket. The next closest is John Hagan in the 128, and I believe Josh Gaiman and Brandon Featherplace both in the 128s as well. So they're both in that 127 bracket alone. Everyone else is in the 130, so they're definitely showing their potential. But Michelle, if you're kind of the crew chief of both drivers, if you're telling Millett right now, you're saying, hey, keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it collective. You're doing what you need to do. If you're Michelle, you're saying, hey, shake off that mistake. We'll get you fixed up. Don't overdrive it, because that could be leading you to your doom. So we'll take a look here at how the top 10 right for stage number 2 here and how they ended up cycling out. Millett will take top billing with Michelle second, Cody Pinnell third. Brendan Roberts' strategy worked out. He will get a net P4, so staying out worked out a treat for him. Lilac Sear 5th, Ross Baxter 6th, John Hagan 7th, Byron Jones 8th, Davey Hawk 9th, and Selena Thompson will get the last stage point as she currently sits in P10 in her fill-in role. So overall, again, good stage run for all drivers, but Brent Roberts proving that staying out stage 1 was the strategy to play there.
Yeah, for sure. Got stage points. That's big for him, especially with the points. I mean, he's below the cut line, so that's going to help him out a lot. Same with Ross Baxter. You know, got some stage points, as well as Byron Jones filling in for Dale Markowski. So great night for all of those drivers points-wise, and hopefully they can bring it to the end and still have a top 10 finish.
To see how it all plays as you see pit stops about to loom here. I'm assuming pit road's going to be a very crowded place. The question is, will anyone try a different strategy? Will anyone elect to stay out? Because 25 to go, you do need fuel. I don't think you can make it to the finish line here if you stay out. But at the same point, if you think the rest of the field has to pit, it may not be a bad call to get that track position. But as the field all comes in here, we'll see if anyone is bold enough. And like we were kind of talking at stage number 1, as actually John Hagan is staying out. He came in at stage break. He will take the lead. But the question is, do you take 4 tires here? Do you take 2? Or do you take none? Let's ask you, Ryan, as you have driven this car quite frequently.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. If you didn't take tires the first stage, I think right here, you know, maybe at least take 2. I wouldn't say 4. It looks like Michelle and it looks like everybody's at least getting 2. We'll have to keep a lookout. But yeah, I think they're getting 4. Yeah. I think they're getting 4 tires here, and Lilac may have taken 2. She got out before everyone else, as well as Bryn Roberts.
I wonder if she may have missed her box here. We'll take a quick look. It looks like some chaos happened on pit lane between Featherplace and Pinelli. It looks like just slowed up, though. They both look relatively okay. I'm going to, again, use the power of editing here real fast just to quickly zoom back here. I think she may have missed her box. She only had a .12 on her stop. So we'll zoom back here. Yeah, no, she just stopped, took fuel only, and left. So, yeah, she elected to take fuel only here. She wants the track position. Everyone else, though, wants the tires. And more importantly, Hagan, Braille, and Gaiman, who all came in at the stage end, they all are going to be 1, 2, 3 here.
Yeah, that makes me think that I believe they can maybe make it on fuel. I'm not sure, but I know last year I think we could do, at least I could do like around 22 to 24 laps on fuel. So it's going to be really close,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll have to see if they can make it to the end. And obviously they don't have those fresh tires like Zach Millett does, but now Zach Millett's back in sixth. So he's going to have to make his way through, these top five to get back to the lead.
We saw track position definitely played a factor in helping Roberts. So, hey, they want clean track, want to make it happen. We'll now pull in our in-car reporter here, Seth Wansing. We'll hear his thoughts about the race so far. Seth, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
It's been a very eventful stages here. Take us through the first two stages in your perspective. What's exactly happened out there and how the track is?
Lack of talent for me. Just caught the bumps wrong in the carousel to start. I gained like 6 spots at the start and then caught the carousel wrong. Wrecked it there. And then second stage didn't go bad except I caught a wall wrong and gave myself some wheel damage. So hopefully can go clean right through here and maybe see what we can come up with.
Just looking to survive, I'd assume. Ryan, is there anything else you want to add to Seth here, as he's had a eventful day here?
Oh, well, I would probably have the same eventful day he had, but obviously the 12 car, it's in the junkyard right now, I think. So,
I saw that.
yeah, we're not happy over here with the checkbooks flowing here, but I mean, you went a lap down, you got back, now you're on the lead lap, so you got an opportunity. What do you have to do to just try and salvage some points here?
Be on attack mode. I mean, I've already used my fast repair, and I feel like a lot of it has been I've lost all confidence. I can typically run anywhere between a high 30 and a 32, and that could get me in a top 10 battle at least. And just not doing it right now, and gotta quit being scared and just kind of go for it at this point. Don't have a whole hell of a lot left to lose, and just gotta trust myself. Know I'm a good race car driver. Go from there.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll let you get back to your team here, and hopefully you can stay on that attack and make something happen. You have a good rest of your race. Hopefully you may find you in the top 10.
Yeah, hopefully to find myself in the top 10 here, and oh boy, I just wrecked under caution. That's awesome.
Oh, we just saw
That's
that.
great.
Oh.
It's alright. I think the car is fine. So, oh well. At this point, that's how my night's gone.
Well, we'll let you go back anyway, and maybe it's a
Well, I did it again.
all right, we'll let you go back here and let you have the rest of your race here.
Alright.
That's why sometimes it's better maybe not to talking while driving here, especially at a road course. But anyway, back up to the front here. It's going to be Hagen and Brio, row number 1 here. Game and Zier, row 2. Roberts Millett, row 3. Michelle Featherplace, row 4. And Cody Pinnell, Ross Baxter, your first 5 rows here. Now, again, Hagen, Brio, Gaiman stayed out, but they all came in at the stage break at 20 before the stage ended at stage 25 at 22. They all took 2 tires and fuel. And then you have Lilac Zier and Bren Roberts. Roberts took 2 tires. Zier just filled it up. And then you have Millett Michelle first on 4 tires here. So the question is, can the 2-tire brigade make it work here, or the 4 tires going to prevail out?
Going to be interesting to watch. I mean, obviously this will more than likely go green to the end unless there is just a huge track blocking wreck. So we're going to pretty much go green with 22 to go, and caution probably not going to come out again. So we'll see what these different strategies, how they work out for everybody. But I expect Zach Millett will be up front here pretty soon.
We'll have to keep an eye on them, but we know B-Tron's got those first 2 spots locked. They're going to make those cars wide if they need to. Pace car is going to pull on off here. It's going to be on Hagen's control here. And he's going to go quick in the restart zone, and away we fly for the final stage of the DRS 100 here at Chicago. Clean first for most cars.
Oh, Davey just took the 33 out in turn 1. He did it again.
Big lock up there. I was going to get Selena Thompson. That was not Selena Thompson on the 33. It's Byron Jones on the 33. And you can see him right there, fired it around. He's gotten it going, but all track lost. Up the road here, you can see Bren Featherplace making a move here on, looks like he made a move on Bren Roberts. But right now, you can see as it's getting car parkies. Michelle, he's trying to get through this field quickly here, stay up with Millet, but right there, just hits the wall just a bit.
Yeah, he's pushing really hard. Zach Millet in 5th right now in front of Brandon Fetterplace, but Daniel Michelle just not able to get around these cars like Zach Millet did, as he's going to get to the inside of Bryn Roberts, but not be in a good position for this next corner.
Yeah, that maybe allowed Pinnell to make a move. Even the far shot, you can see Ross Baxter making a move on Mike LaJoy. Driver that's having a good day so far. Let me knock on wood before we have a big lineup outside the broadcast booth. Cursing us for giving them the commentary's curse, but he'll hold 11th right now with this worn-out machine. But it's just a bit of a stack up behind Brent Roberts here. As you can see already, a second at least. Actually, even more than that. Roberts is now about 3 back on Featherplace and about some more back.
Oh, somebody hit the wall. Yeah, Cody Pinnell.
Hits the wall there in his Muslim machine. That's going to lose him a couple spots.
Oh, he turned LaJoy.
LaJoy around here. That's going to be a spin out. Seth Wansing
involved. In it.
Tom Sears as well. And that's what I was talking about, how sometimes you could just be in someone else's mistake. But it looks like it's not affect Tom Sears. He's looking to make a move. But David Wright just clean clocked Cody Pinnell. There's Daniel Michelle. He lost it too.
Oh, no.
It has been pure pandemonium here. Daniel Michelle, who looked poised, maybe a car that could be trying to get in. His car looks okay for the most part. But definitely you can see the effects of what happened. So obviously you saw most of what happened there, but I want to take a look and see what exactly happened to Michelle, as he was up there in this train way before the incident. So we'll watch this here. You can see the chaos behind affecting. And then we'll see what exactly happened to Michelle. Yeah, I think he's just going to lock it up. No, he's just going to loop it on his own.
Wow.
And then we're going to rewind just a second here and go back just a little bit. We're going to cut back to where David Wright was. So you can see, obviously, right here with Sears and Wright. So we're going to cut just a little bit back to David Wright here. Already getting in the wall here. And you can see right there, LaJoy gets it fired up. Wright trying to make a move on the low side. Right now, side by side with Wansing. Does he lock it up?
Oh, yeah. He just sent it way too hard.
Maybe trying to clear Seth Wansing, but just a little bit too deep. And there happened to be a Cody Pinnell-sized hole there. Luckily, minor damage for him at the very least. Well, the front clip, though, looks like it's about to fly off, so maybe a little bit more than minor. Back up to we go, watching the battles. Tom Sears, he's coming in after some of that incident we saw here, losing his, he lost his front clip, but definitely going to come in and try to fix it up. As the rest of the cars like to stay out, we're going to cut up to P4 here. As you can see, Featherplace, Zier, and Millet all in a bit of a train here.
Yeah, Zier's been able to hold her position right now. I mean, running in 4th, obviously has probably the fastest car on track behind her. And then Fetterplace, you know, one of the probably 2nd or 3rd fastest out here. But, I mean, really, this has really worked out for John Hagan. I mean, he's almost 2 seconds ahead of Josh Gaiman. And Zach Millet does make the pass on Lilac. So he's going to be able to catch John Hagan. But you look at those times, I mean, he's 8 seconds back. That's a lot of time to make up in 20 laps.
Right now, the one thing's going to help John Hagan is his teammate, Jeremy Braille, right there. You can see in the 74. It's going to be a bit of a roadblock. He's not going to make it easy to make a move here and try to make something happen. And you can see right there, further shot, Zier looks like made a slight mistake. Featherplace tried to follow suit there. But to kind of just finish my point, my sequitur there, right now, Millet still has to get around Braille, and that could cost another lap or two. But once he gets around, he's got about maybe 8 seconds, maybe more, maybe less, in about 19, 18, maybe 17 laps to chase down that 81 and 61. It's easier said than done.
Oh, for sure. And, I mean, Zach Millet's actually not really gaining a whole lot of time. I mean, he's actually now almost 9 seconds back from John Hagan. So he's in traffic. He can't run his line. He doesn't have that clean air, and it's affecting him right now. So, and like you said, Jeremy, obviously a teammate to John Hagan, so he's not going to make it easy. As Seth just looped it. Oh, no, he didn't hit anything, but
yeah, just a bad day.
Rough night. Yeah.
You were just about to say what I was about to say. Just wanting to get away from Chicago as quick as he can. But luckily, when you have bad days, that's why you have good point buffers. But Seth's still searching for his first win. You can definitely feel a bit of the pain right now. He just wants to get that itch scratched, and it ain't going to happen here tonight. We're going to cut back up here again with Braille and Millet. We've been focused on this. We saw also while we were talking, Zier lose a spot at the Feather Place. And then another driver on the move, Selena Thompson. She's up to 8th. She got around Bren Roberts, Davey Hawk following suit. So a couple battles forming out right now. We're keeping an eye on this one, but we're going to cut back up to Braille and Millet. The question is, how quickly can Millet make a move on Braille?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if Millet's saving a little bit. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know their fuel strategy here, but Millet is just the fact that he is not catching John Hagen right now makes me think he's just saving and taking it easy. It also makes me think that John Hagen and Gaiman and Brialt may have to pit before the end of this race. Again, I could be wrong, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think Zach Millet's really saving here, just taking his time and seeing what happens.
But he's got to be careful because we know pit delta around here is about 30-ish seconds if you just quickly come in, maybe even less, 25, 30 seconds if you come in and top off. So he needs to make sure if he is saving to keep the intervals. Right there, you can see him really back up the corner there. We're riding on board right now, and you can see his RPMs and his revs. He is really not pushing as hard as a driver. We'll just cut the Braille to show you what I mean. You can see he's running 80, 89, and you can see him only kind of topping in the 70s range. So he's really kind of backing it down a bit. You are correct in that thought. Maybe trying to make sure he doesn't come back in, or maybe just doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot where an accident could occur when he knows the top three have to pit.
Yeah, it could be both, honestly, at this point. Oh, we about got the wall there, but yeah, I mean, obviously Zach Millet has a lot of wins on the season. I think he's sitting at what, like 3 or 4 for the season. So he doesn't have to win this race, but he knows obviously what his fuel's at, and he knows the 3 in front of him did not pit under that stage break. So he's a lot smarter than I am. He's a lot faster than I am. I think he knows what he's doing. But he's got Fetter Place right on his tail, and Fetter Place pitted on that stage break as well. So we could be looking at the race for the win if the top 3 can't make it.
Yes, we'll have to keep an eye on that, but don't give yourself too much credit there. Don't insult yourself too much as Zier spins. I'll hold that thought in a second. Zier spins right there, hits the tire into 1.
More money I gotta spend.
But I was about to say, don't sell yourself too much on smarts there. You're definitely a smart man, Ryan. You've definitely showed that out when you pulled some strategies out there. I won't defend you on your speed, though. Yeah, I've seen you on track, but it's also me calling the kettle black, saying, hey, we're both slow together as Ross Baxter makes a move there on the low side, and Zier, you can see definitely with a wounded machine.
I'm just hoping the 12 car comes back out and at least runs maybe a couple more laps before the end of this race, but yeah, I mean, Lilac just pushed it a little too hard, and now, unfortunately, hopefully she doesn't have a meatball. It doesn't look too bad. It definitely looks like some front-end damage, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, I mean, she's still running 7th, still a respectable race so far, so just keep it clean, keep it off the wall, as David Wright just smacked the inside wall. Saw that in the background, but yeah, rough race for David Wright as well.
And look at that first car in. They think you were correct. It's Josh Gaiman. Obviously, he did not spin. He was 2 seconds consistently back at Hagen. He is in, so it maybe just answered our question, can the top 3 make it to the end? I think Gaiman kind of pitting here just shows that maybe you can't, and he will have to come on in and kind of bite the bullet here. And now the question is, if you're Hagen Braille, you're going to run as quick as you can and fast as you can in turn, and we actually see as we actually recovering this, as we see him leave away, look who took the position over. Brandon Featherplace passed Zach Millet. Yeah,
Zach Millet is in full save mode right now. No questions about it.
But he's
Featherplace obviously can make it, or he just is saying, hey, I'm going to pit. But I think Zach Millet is in full save mode right now. If he makes it, that's going to be wild.
But you got to be careful, as we saw with Gaiman. It was a 33-second pit stop down the Delta. And we look at this right now. The gap between Braille and Hagen's 13, Featherplace 14, Millet's down to 16. Right now, it's still going to be well over 10 seconds, so it's not something too bad. But if he really backs up his times, it could basically be throwing red meat in the lion's den. And now you got Hagen and Braille. Maybe not Braille per se because it's kind of close, but Hagen can easily run him back down. As we watch this battle, Josh Gaiman, as we'll see up the far shot here, was able to get around Ross Baxter. So Gaiman now knows, no worries. I can go as fast as I want to catch up, and if Hagen pits, he's going for the undercut here.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of strategy going on right now, but I think Millet knows exactly what he needs to do as far as saving. He's going to make sure he keeps it right there at that 25. I mean, right now he's 17, about 18 seconds back from John Hagen. he knows that those two have to pit. The one I'm curious about is Brandon Fetterplace. I don't know if he's pushing hard and just going to take a splash right there at the end, but he's definitely not saving. Zach Millett for sure is saving in that number 31 machine.
Like, look at last time by. Hagen ran at 128, Braille ran at 129, Featherplace at 129 range, Zach Millett at 131. So he's backed it up 2 seconds, and he's losing about 2 seconds a lap. This is trying to make that magical number. We saw a little bit further back while we were talking there, Michelle, Roberts, and Hawk were kind of getting a little bit squirrely. We saw Michelle get around. Hawk, obviously, again, tempers flaring. And it doesn't help if you make any major axes. I just did a Fox there. We cut away. Braille and Featherplace fighting here.
Oh, Braille's loose. I mean, a great battle, but Fetterplace gets around Braille. Obviously, Fetterplace at this point is thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to pit, but so do the two people that I'm battling. So why not just send it, come in, take a splash of fuel? It's not a bad strategy.
It's not. It just makes me wonder because now there's 16 seconds by Hagen. They need Hagen to make a mistake, or they need Hagen. Like, it's interesting because at least in Millett's case, you know, hey, I'm not going to make that time up, so might as well just save it. As, yeah, Millett now down 22 seconds. He's already fallen 5 seconds away from this battle. But again, he's got to be careful. It's now Braille pitting, so we kind of, again, just confirming it. Braille in, if we can find him there, he is. He is in. He'll make his final pit stop. So, assuming the times, Braille's not making it. Featherplace is probably not making it. And Hagen's definitely not making it. So does that open the door for this 31?
I think it does. I mean, we have seen how fast Zach Millett is. He's been running 127s. The fact that he's running 131s, it's not because he lost skill. It's because he's watching that fuel tank, those fuel gauges, and I think he has a plan. Now, can he make it work? That's the question, because obviously John Hagen, about 24 seconds ahead of him. Like you said, about a 30-second pit delta. That's going to be really, really close. And obviously, Hagen's going to be able to come out and run full speed. Millett's still going to have to save. So this is going to get really interesting.
Yeah, and there's one more thing, though, as well. We kind of ignoring, bearing the lead here. Josh Gaiman came in as well. He's only about 5 seconds back of Zach Millett. There's the 61 right there. So that raises another question. If he falls too far back, Gaiman, who is now good to go to the finish line, is now his main rival.
For sure. I mean, and he's watching that as well, I'm sure. But once Gaiman gets to Zach Millett, he's got to make that decision. Okay, do I push it and maybe run out of fuel, or do I just say, you know what, I'll finish second, I'll take my second place? It's one of those things as a race car driver, when strategy happens, you got to make those decisions.
Yeah, it's up to Millett here, and we know Millett's a smart man, a smart driver. He is not going to let an oversight like that happen, especially when he swept the stages here. So, but right now, again, if he's doing a strategy, once Gaiman gets to his tail end, if he gets to his tail end, that's going to be basically, all right, he's got to put up or shut up. Do I push to hang on, or do I just make it maybe a second or third and say, all right, the win wasn't in the cards, which would definitely feel like a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's always tough. I mean, I've been in strategy races where I thought I had the right call and it just didn't work out, and then I've been on other sides of it where I, get a top 5 or top 10 and, it works out. It's just, you have to make those decisions, and you have to make them so quickly, and it's really tough around a road course because, at least at an oval, you can kind of look at your black box, you can look at your fuel, you have some time. You can't do anything here at this road course. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, you're on the edge consistently trying to make moves.
Oh, Michelle just lost it. 25. Right in front of Davey. Oh, no.
That could be a caution if you can't get it fired up quick here. That's in a kind of a track blocking situation. Here comes Lilacs here, who fixed up her car, took a fast repair. The rest of the cars will file suit, but luckily, no caution will be called. They'll stay green. And more importantly, though, Michelle, who, again, was looking poised, maybe a car that could have took the win, is now outside the top 10. Brandon Featherplace in the pit lane, so we know he can't make it. He's on the same strategy as Millett. So with him now kind of admitting defeat, it shows that Hagen definitely can't make it. Now the question is, what can Millett do? As he's now caught some traffic here, which is definitely a sketchy situation when you catch lap-down cars.
Yeah, and the 14, I mean, missing his front clip, so he's obviously, struggling a little bit in that 14 machine. But, yeah, I mean, Josh Gaiman's right there now, though. So Zach Millett has to either push and just accept that he's going to run out, or just keep saving and let Joshua Gaiman potentially get this win, which is huge because Gaiman does not have a win this year.
Yep, Lawrence going to go way wide there in the tire barrier. Gaiman makes it through successfully. Last lap car they'll have to navigate around here, and Tom Sears, who actually isn't a lap down yet, now he'll be official. Actually, he's 2 down, so yeah, he got put down a second one, as they both will get around him right now. And so it's really kind of noting, as we know Hagan has to pit. We can rule that in with 12 laps to go, and now Gaiman is going to have to maybe make a move here or put the pressure on Millet. But one thing is, if Millet can hit his number, we know he's the fastest car on track. He set the fastest lap on the 3 cars we're watching. But with Gaiman running similar times to Millet, it's not going to be easy to push it way back and kind of get yourself back in a rhythm after you've been saving for many laps.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And still, I mean, John Hagan, if he keeps pushing, he's closing in on that 30-second pit delta that we were talking about. I mean, it's 25 seconds right now between him and Zach Millet. And obviously, we know Millet still saving a little bit. Gaiman's right there. John Hagan's not out of this. I mean, if he comes down pit road and he's 30 seconds ahead of these top 2, he could still be in this thing. I mean, this is really going to be interesting coming to the end.
Should be noting as well, obviously, there's only been 2 road courses so far this season in the A-Squared Cup Series. And they've been, worst one was won by Emma Kruger for Gear Cats, obviously the owner of Gear Cats. And the other one right up in the air. You got a B-Char car in first. You got a Bandit Racing car in second. And then you got the Gear Cats car in third as Gaiman catches a snap of oversteer there. And that's going to cost some time. But Gear Cats looking to go 2 for 2 on road course this year. And Gaiman, at least in the moment, seems to be in the driver's seat. But Millet's now seems to be picking up his times.
Yeah, I think now Millet is probably at his mark. He saved what he needed to save. He knew that Gaiman was going to be closing in on him. And now he's just got to stay in front of Gaiman because they're racing for the win, in my opinion, unless John Hagan can get down pit road and get out in front of them. But he's just not quite there on that pit delta, I don't think.
No, it's beginning to fall, too. Worth noting, it was at the highest of 26. It's now down to about a 25, so he's already lost a second. And we'll look at the times this time by. Hagan ran a 1:28.77. We'll see what both Millet and Gaiman run here as they cross the line, if Gaiman can even make a move. And right now, Millet is Hagan's best friend, at the very least, holding up Gaiman. Gaiman, though, not going to make the lunge, locking up just a bit, stay behind, and almost go a little bit too deep.
Yeah, I think Gaiman's pushing pretty hard right now. He's trying to get around Zach Millet because he knows that's probably going to be for the win, or at least close to the battle for the win. And I still think that it's going to be the battle for the win. But I think Zach Millet, once he gets in that zone where he knows he's good on fuel, he's going to start making up some time, and I think it's already starting to happen.
Yeah, last time by, a 1:28.76 for Millet, a 1:28.72 for Gaiman, and a 1:28.77 for Hagan. So the fast out of 3 was Hagan, but they're all within a tenth of each other, so they are all running the same laps and making it work. So Hagan is kind of plateaued at 25 seconds, and with the delta being 30-35, that means when he eventually elects to pit, it's going to be at least 5-10 seconds
Hagan's
back.
on pit road. Hagan is on pit road.
Good call there, Ryan, as he will now pit. That will hand the lead over to Zach Millet when they come around here. Now, I was just about to say, you need to give yourself some time as well if you can't open up that delta to run down the car in question to make it work. So now with Hagan in, it's going to most likely be fuel only. So he's going to be in, and you'll see on the far shot here, there is both the 31 and the 61 here. As they're both going to zoom on by that 81 as he's still in his box, and actually he's come out ahead.
Yeah, he's 1.4 out in front of these two. So this is huge here. I mean, that's a really good stop for John Hagan. Hey, we're going to have 3 cars here, I think, that'll be battling for the win here at the end.
So Hagan's made it work perfectly there. You got to respect that. I was keeping it on the left side of the screen like, all right, we're going to see him pop in 5, 4. No, he came out and he's got the clear. Now he's got the cold tires. He didn't take tires. So still, Millet has the freshest tires out of the 3. As we know, Gaiman and Hagan both came in for 2 under their lap 22 excursion and then came in fuel only. Millet has the freshest, but now Millet is kind of in a rock and a hard place. If he's not at his number yet, he's going to have to save just a tiny bit. But if he's at his number, he's going to have to try to fight around that 81 now on track. As look poised, he was going to jump him, but now things have kind of turned up and turned on its head.
Yeah, and he's got Gaiman breathing down his neck, which obviously, if you're a race car driver, when you have somebody behind you, it really throws you off your groove. But, I mean, Zach Millett is one of the best. He's about 1.5 seconds behind John Hagen, but, I mean, these lap cars that they're going to catch could play a huge role in the finish of this race.
Yeah, that is going to be the thing. Obviously, Seth Wansing, first car, obviously a two-time champion. He will most likely just get out of the way here. No reason to put up a fight. Puff of smoke, though. Hopefully no one's up the road here. Inclusion, I don't see any cars. Oh, there's one. It's Stefan Overstedt on the low side. Looks like he looped it, but he will not get in anyone's way here. So next car up the road for Hagen is going to be David Wright. And see if the track map loads on the broadcast here. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And it looks like it's not going to load here today. So we're going to have to go off the iPower here. But you can see Hagen Wright's up the road next car, and now you got Millett and Game. They both caught that 9. Kind of a twisty bit, a bit of a bad section as Wansing mows down that wall.
Ooh, yeah, that was close. And this is just helping John Hagen. But I will say, when John Hagen gets to David Wright, he is very aggressive. He usually doesn't get out of the way, so this could be huge when John Hagen catches David Wright. Does he slow him up? Because right now, John Hagen out to a 2-second lead. I mean, yeah, almost perfect call from John Hagen if he can make this work.
And they're all running dead laps here. We'll check the times as they come around here, but Hagen is pushing. Gaiman is trying to find a way, but when you push this hard, sometimes it leads to the ruin. But look at Hagen. He got held up by Wright there. Bad spot.
Millett got loose, got really loose, and Gaiman actually went around him.
Yeah, so we were cutting back up there. You see Gaiman, he'll make the move, and now Gaiman kind of maybe giving his life raft here. Hagen going to get around David Wright now. I think that's going to be the last car of note for at least a little bit here for Hagen. And now Gaiman's got some clean real estate here. He's going to have to get around Wright, but Gaiman is now officially on lock up there by the 81.
Yeah, and you can tell the 81's pushing, and the 61 is loose. I mean, all three of these cars are just pushing as hard as they can, and it really just depends now. Is anyone going to make a mistake? And if they do, it's going to be huge here with only 7 to go here at Chicago.
That time by, fastest car on the track last time by was Josh Gaiman at 128.45. The Hagen's 128.87. Millett's 129.13. So Gaiman at least looks fast, but car's going to kick on him.
Oh, Gaiman! Oh, no!
He has left himself to a ruin here. He will get it refired, and he'll get it going here, but that is going to take him out of contention here. The rear brake just kicked, and he ended up looping it, and that is going to make it a 2-horse race. And we know Gaiman always is on the edge when driving, but it just went over the edge there.
Yeah, not what he wanted at all. And John Hagen, I still think Zach Millett is saving. I don't think he has enough.
We'll take a quick look as we're on the onboard shot here. So we'll just take a quick look here just to show you exactly what happened. As I'm in fast forward mode, we'll now slow it down. And you can just see 61 just comes in the corner, thing just kicked. And, oh, that is just heartbreaking. When you're opposite side of the tire barrier, that just is the worst feeling you could probably have.
Yeah, I mean, he's still right there. I mean, he's still in third, so it'll still be a good day for him. But, yeah, definitely not what he wanted. I think he could have closed in and at least battled John Hagen. And, again, Zach Millett now 3 seconds back. I just don't think he has enough fuel. I think John Hagen's pretty much got this thing unless something huge happens.
There are a few cars up the road there. You can see in that shot they could catch, but it's going to be at least a couple laps where they do so. And even then, who knows what effect that may have. So right now, you still got questions on Millett making it on fuel. But if Hagen can do it, you got to admire the immersive. First of all, you wonder if anyone can stop him, as he has just been a force to be reckoned with this A-squared season. But secondly, to kind of finish this point, it just shows that he's kind of been very averse to this. He fell down the order, pitted, tried different strategies, and right now it's working a treat for that 81 B-Tron car.
Yeah, and I mean, 6 laps here, that's still a long time to go. So, I mean, the 81 could make a mistake. The 31, obviously, at this point, I think he's just accepting that he's going to finish second, not pushing it, keeping it clean. So, just kind of hoping the 81 makes a mistake, but I just don't see that happening from John Hagen.
I honestly think if Millet, if he gets the kind of lets the ponies ride here, I think he'll get caught back up. But the question is, can he even let the ponies go? Because that time by, dead heat with Hagen. But even then, if there's still concerns on fuel, what can he exactly do to make it up? So we're going to cut a little bit further back here. Braille and Cody Pennell, they're getting in a bit of a battle here for the last spot in the top 5. Obviously, Jeremy Braille already in the playoffs with a win at Daytona. Cody Pennell obviously coming in the season a bit later. He's probably just in a must-win situation now, and obviously not going to happen here tonight unless major catastrophe happens. But he's at least trying to get himself some good momentum for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. I mean, just get you a good finish. I mean, he's obviously, if he can get around Jeremy, get a top 5, that's huge. You know, come back next week at Richmond, whole different track, you know, short track, and just have that momentum for the next week.
It definitely plays in the Pennell, because obviously some drivers are good at short tracks. You know, David Wright was a prime example last season. He was on the outside looking in at the playoffs. He got that crucial win at Richmond, and it basically gave himself a good outlook that got him to the round of 8. So sometimes you're at the point where you got to find that luck and make it work. So as you see side by side, Millet and Braille, I think Pennell is going to make the move here. And no, Braille's still going to hold tough on the inside.
Yeah, Cody I mean, obviously they're really good friends. They used to run on the same team, so they're going to race each other clean, but it's still going to be a good race. I mean, Cody's he's driving the crap out of that thing, but he got around Jeremy there, so P5 for Cody Pennell right now.
And he's making it work so nice here, and again, can't be mad at the finish he's going to possibly have here as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. As we've hit 4 to go here, just like to take this again opportunity here. Thank you for everyone that has tuned in here on this Sunday evening for a great broadcast we have had. And it's been good so far, and this race is shaping up to be a great finish here. As you can see side by side for the battle for the top 5. But again, thank you for tuning in here on ABN1, and we'll be here again most likely next week for Richmond, so make sure you tune in for that as well. As you can see side by side, Braille and Pennell both going to put themselves over the ruins.
That wasn't very clean. And Lilac's right there. She's like, yeah, y'all keep racing. I'll come race with y'all too.
So you can see right now, Rach is on in situation as these two are fighting it out for position and trying to make something happen here. Oh, puff of smoke there. So as we kind of get this battle raging on, trying to find something here on, trying to make something work here. So we'll see exactly. As you can see, Zier trying also there in the distance, trying to make a move on Cody Pennell.
Yeah, the 60 of Ross Baxter spun, unfortunately. I'm not sure what happened there. So he's back in 10th now, but still a good race. I mean, Ross Baxter just kind of one of those underdogs that we have in A squared. You know, one of those that a lot of people don't know his name. They don't know really who he is. And he comes out here and just has great finishes week after week as still in 10th. Not a bad finish for the 60 if he can keep it in 10th. But we only got 3 to go, so we're getting close to that white flag.
We're getting close indeed. Now finally got my controls back up. For some reason, STK says, yeah, we're going to lock you out of your controls. So now we can firmly go around here and check everyone what they're doing. Zach Millett now has fallen down about 6 seconds back, so he's, like you were saying, Ryan, full conservation mode. He's basically kind of made his bed. He's lying in it, and that win is slipping through his fingers to John Hagen. Another one you could say that he could have won away from John Hagen, but just couldn't get it done in the end.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, I feel like if Josh Gaiman didn't have that issue where he, looped it, I think Josh Gaiman probably would have given John Hagen a run for his money. But unfortunately, just didn't work out, and that's just how racing works sometimes.
Yeah, but luckily, again, Milt has those wins, and luckily he got those stage points he needed to qualify for the playoffs. So at this point, he's just playing with house money. He's just trying to get some momentum for the season. John Hayden crossed the line. We officially hit 2 to go here. Now cutting board with that 81. You can see right now only one car really left in front right now is that 29 of Mike LaJoy, who we were talking about was a driver that needed a good performance to kind of get himself in. With Davey Hawk having just as good a race here as well, LaJoy made some small inroads, but it's still going to be very tight on the bubble with Stefan Oberstedt having a poor outing. It's making it closer on those last couple lines for the points.
Yeah, it's going to be really close. I mean, Bryn Roberts was right there. He's in 23rd on pit road. Obviously, The 12 car, not a great performance tonight. Still sitting on pit road as well. So points are going to be rough. It looks like Cody actually just pitted
Yeah.
with 2 to go. So that kind of makes me wonder. I don't know when Cody last pit, but
Yeah, I'm not.
that's interesting.
Had to reset my SDK there. I think he came in at 24 along with the rest of the pack. We saw most of them have to come in, so he is in. We'll see if it's a quick splash and dash here. And the way he'll fire, yeah, he's fixing up his front end, though, taking a fast spare, because why not make the car look as pretty as you can? Nah, he's away, so looks like it may have just been for quick fuel, or maybe maybe he had a meatball. But we're going to cut back up to our race leader, John Hagen here, coming off the last corner here. The flagman's going to have the flag in his hand. We got 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Spiel Racing Designs. Can Hagen bring it home?
Yeah, now I'm kind of wondering, does he have enough fuel? I think he probably does, but Zach Millett in second. Joshua Gaiman's actually kind of closing in on Zach Millett a little bit, right on his back bumper, but I think John Hagen's got this thing unless he somehow runs out of fuel on this last lap.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this battle for a second. Obviously, we'll see if Hagen gets to the flag, but Gaiman has reeled back in, and Gaiman is kind of in a what-if situation. He had the speed, kind of had it, but one mistake led him to that spot. But still, driver's still doing well. Can't hate a good finish when you can get it, and he's still poised to make the playoffs. But now the question is, can he get around that 31? But regardless, even the 31 finish a second, making it 25 laps on 1 tank round here is definitely at least worth a hat tip.
Oh, the 61 just spun it.
Oh, same spot where you had that mistake last time, too. Seth Wansing also hits the wall as well. That's just Davey Hawk, my mistake. And he'll pile in as well, so that is going to firmly give Millett second. But if we cut back to the leader, John Hagen, he's only got a couple more corners to go here. Nothing in front of him, nothing behind him. As he comes up East Michigan Avenue, got 1 last corner to go. John Hagen has won 7 times this year. Why don't we match the first number of his car digit as Hagen comes off the last corner? He has won here at the Chicago Street Course, giving him another win, added to the board. Zach Millett in the distance, you'll see him. He will take second position, and it's going to be a little bit of time for Gaiman gets in third. There's Zach Millett across the line, and then there's Josh Gaiman. That will be your top 3, as Brandon Featherplace brings home a nice P4 as well. But again, Hagen played the strategy to perfection. We were wondering if it was going to work, and it worked to a treat. So John Hagen, your race winner here. Question is he going to take the long way around here to do a celebration, or is he going to do maybe a bit of a muted celebration somewhere around a little bit closer up?
I think he's out of fuel.
Oh, I think he may be. Yeah, he's running out. We'll check the cockpit here. See the RPMs. Yeah, he's running 38.
Yeah, he's out.
So he filled it just enough to make it. And you see cars giving congratulations, so he won't even get a chance to burn it down. And I wonder if maybe also Zach Millett ran out, because he's slow too.
Yeah, I'm sure he had to be close. I mean, the fact that John Hagen ran out at really pretty much after the start-finish line, I mean, he had just enough. That's why I was worried when Cody pit. I was like, I don't know if John Hagen can make it, but hey, he made it to the start-finish line. That's all that matters.
Hey, that's all you got to do sometimes to make it to the finish line. But hey, it doesn't matter if you get enough lap for a celebration or not. All that matters is you make it to the finish. So Hagen comes around under his own power. Luckily, again, didn't underfuel it like Truex did at Sonoma. Has enough fuel. He'll take the victory, but he's going to need a little bit of some help from a teammate if he wants to get back to pit lane. So the top 3 are set in stone. We'll take a quick look. You can see the rest of the top 10 here. Do not go anywhere. We're going to hear from the top 3 of Hagen, Millett, and Gaiman in due time, as they obviously have got a long parade lap here before they get back to the pit lane. But while Hagen puddles around here, we'll take a final look at our finishing results here and see where exactly everyone piled on in here tonight, if the graphic will load. So just give me 1 second here as we try to get that all nice and booted up here. But John Hagen, your race winner. All right, so you'll see Hagen going around here. We'll see if the results now pull up here. There we go. There's the final results. So as we take a quick look, as Hagan gets around here, you can see John Hagan was our race winner. Zach Millett in second. Josh Gaiman rounds out the last step of the podium. And it's Feather Place, Braille, Zier, Baxter, Michelle, Thompson, and Cody Pinnell, your top 10. So even though Cody Pinnell had to come in for emergency service, he still gets the top 10. Zelina Thompson in the filling role gets a nice P9. Byron Jones, obviously doing a good job filling in for Dale Markowski. He'll get 11th. Kevin Feemster in 12th. Mike LaJoy in 13th. Davey Hawk in 14th. David Wright in 15th. After Mike LaJoy were getting the cars, they were one or multiple laps down. Tom Sears was able to get around and get 16th. Seth Wands was looking for a better day. Both those drivers were. They'll finish 16th and 17th. Mark DeLayla 18th. James Kerr 19th. Stefan Overstat rounding out the top 20. And we go further down. We got Battles in 21st. Lawrence in 22nd. Roberts in 23rd. Now getting the cars that retired with Jonathan Adams in 24th. Carmen Sienna in 25th. Just couldn't get the car fixed up to make it back out there. Mongol 26th. And Catania last of the cars running in P27. So even though it looks like we thought Hagan ran out of fuel, he's got at least enough to do something here.
Yeah, maybe he was tricking us. I don't know. He's got
Well,
enough fuel to do a burnout. So
we'll ask that question at the very least when we hear from him in a second here. But there's Hagan. He'll burn it down at least a little bit here. Maybe he was just trying to save enough to have a burnout, knowing he didn't have enough to get around under his own power. But that thing looks like it had well enough fuel to make it to the finish line. So as Hagan comes around and probably parks it up here for a second, we'll see if anyone is ready to go in the interview room here. Take a quick look if I can ever get over there. Yeah, we do got third and second, so we'll work away up from 3 to 1 here, and we'll hear from Josh Gaiman first here, our third place finisher.
Really.
Oh, sorry, we cut you out of that thought there. Josh, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
All right, that was a very interesting finish to say the least, but we got to start at the beginning. First of all, how was the track out there? We saw it was a very single groove track for passing, but it looks like the main opportunities passed were down the start-finish straight and down the long straights.
Yeah, out of two is a really good one. If you can get the run out of two and get down to the really tight section before somebody, like turns 4 and if you can get them, get a good run coming out of the last corner, there's a pretty good opportunity that you're clear for the turn 1. But yeah, I mean it's I think I've rode on motocross tracks that are smoother than this place, but it's still probably the best street circuit. In my opinion, it's so good. But yeah, I had an absolute blast even with the mistakes, and I know I caught Brandon pretty bad there early on. I put it in that hole on the left side of the track, and it just blew the tires off right into him, and that's all on me.
At least, hey, you're admitting for faults. At least you can say we'll give you that one. Anyway, we'll move a little bit down the line. Obviously, we saw the first strategy. You were running up there better than Michelle. Second stage had that incident. You came in late, and it set yourself up for the final stage. Now, we kind of figured out you weren't going to have enough fuel to make it. So take us through the thought process of coming in for the end of stage 2 and just trying this alt strategy.
Yeah, I knew that if everyone was pushing, that nobody was making it. So I figured if if guys are gonna try to save, then they're gonna be a good bit slower because on road courses you don't have a ton of opportunities to really save if you still want to be relevant at the end of the race. And it kind of worked out in my favor. On my part, I just had the brakes a little too far back, and as the rear tires got hotter, I had to keep sliding it forward, and just wasn't making enough of an adjustment. But yeah, I knew I had to push, and it still worked out. I'll take a third place.
Hey, you can't fault that, especially with the season you've had at least beginning. You made good recovery drives, you found good form, and sometimes even though you didn't get the win, a podium's definitely salvageable to say the least. Obviously, if you have anything else to add to the race, you can add to that. But with Richmond coming up next week, 2 rounds to go for the playoff start. Obviously, you look poised to at least maybe make the playoffs. But how are you going to do at Richmond? Do you think it's a track you're strong at?
I wouldn't say I'm super strong there, but I figured out how to be consistent. So hopefully that'll work in my favor, and I could just keep the car up front and avoid any incidents. It's definitely a tough one with this car. It runs completely different than any other stock car, which is kind of pot kettle with this thing, because it's different at every track, but especially Richmond with just how the track's shaped and how it races.
Well, obviously, before I ask anything else, Ryan, is there anything else you want to ask our third place finisher?
No, I mean I kind of expected you to be up front, and you Had a couple little issues, but hey, do you think honestly, if you didn't spin it right there when you passed Millet, do you think you could have caught John Hagen?
Yeah, I think honestly, without that first spin, because I hit the wall with the front end a little bit, and I think it slowed me down. Because after that, I just wasn't able to run those 27s anymore. But yeah, if I could have kept running those 27s and had the balance of the car just right, I could have at least run them down. I don't know about passing them because we were running basically the same lap times, maybe give or take a couple of laps here and there. It would have been a really good race though.
Well, obviously it is ABN tradition. If anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I'll shout out Mechanic Setup Shop, 213 Simware, W Energy as always, for riding along, and shout out all the ARCS guys for putting a series that they run together and doing it week in week out all year long, and shout out to y'all for doing the broadcast. Good to see you in the booth, Ryan.
Alrighty,
Yep.
well, yeah. I was gonna let you finish there. I thought you were gone for a second, but yeah, it's great talking to you, Josh, and I think we'll talk before the season's out. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
And that was our third place finisher, Josh Game. So Ryan, since you are the new boy in town, why don't you interview our second place finisher here as I bring him on in, Zach Millet, and hear his thoughts about the Knights facilities.
Sounds good. Zach Millet, this is Ryan Pennell in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, man, I gotta ask you. I know you were saving fuel. Did you get to a point there at the end where you were just like, you know what? I'm gonna finish second and make sure I make it to the end because I saw the speed you had. I saw you were saving. Just walk us through that last, maybe 5 laps where obviously you were saving. What was going through your mind there?
It's funny. It was like maybe 3 or 4 laps into that last run there, and I looked down. I was telling Josh, I'm like, "Oh, I'm 2 laps short. That's a problem." So we had to do some extreme saving without giving up, too much ground. And I mean, here it's tough, man. I mean, it's hard to make a pass, on pace, let alone, trying to keep ground and keep people behind you, fall off throttle. But yeah, it came to a point of where I was looking at Hagen's lap times. He was ripping. I knew he was going to come in and splash and go, and I kind of got caught up there behind a couple cars off the restart, and that kind of forced me into that, just trying to make it strategy. So I just kind of stuck with it and let off where I could, clutched it where I could, try not to, bomb it into the wall, and yeah, it worked out. We got our stage points, which is really what we got to get, and P2 isn't too bad either.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still second place, not bad, but obviously you had probably the fastest car on track tonight. So, I mean, are you a little disappointed in how the strategy worked out and that you didn't have that opportunity to race for the win?
Yeah, always. Anytime you can't race for the win, it's a little disappointing, but I don't know, the old Hawk Tua Camaro. Well, that's weird to say. Was fast tonight. It was a good car out there. I felt like, I don't know, if we topped off or something, or maybe if we did what Hagen did, if we got around some of the cars a little quicker, we could have maybe had something. But I mean, those guys were just getting faster too. I mean, him and Gaiman were, I think they both turned 27 flat, which is absolutely moving. And yeah, I don't know. It would have been fun to be up there, 3 cars and battle it out, but it wasn't to be.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if there's anybody you want to thank or shout out, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank ARCS and ABN Esports. Thanks to HBR TV, Track Bar Media, and shoot me a follow over on Twitch at That Is Sport Guy.
Alrighty, that was our second place finisher, and obviously, again, good talk. Brian was doing a good job talking to you there, but hopefully, again, we'll probably talk for the end of the season, but if not, you take care and have a good rest of your week.
All right, guys, take care.
And that was Zach Millet, our second place finisher, and we only got one driver left. It's our race winner, John Hagen. We'll bring him in now. John, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Kevin and Ryan?
All right, you seem very ecstatic for the performance you had. Obviously, we got to move through all the events here and hear about the day, but first off, we'll just start. How was the track out there? Because we saw through the first stage, you had a very eventful stage number one.
I had an eventful entire race. Stage 1, I bended into the wall head on. Stage 2, I did it again. I did it twice. Well, okay. Stage 1, I put it head on into the wall because the track wasn't necessarily like terrible to drive. It was just really hard, especially with the lack of markers on track to find brake markers. It made it that much harder. So a lot of times I was guessing until I finally got something down pat. I went head on like with like lap 9 in stage 1, and then under caution I did it again, like literally coming to pit road, and that made me take my fast repair, and I was like, well, there goes the flip. And then stage 2, I think I did it once. No, well, yeah, maybe I did it once in stage 2. I think, I don't know. I did a lot of wrecking because I was pushing hard, and we were able to keep the wheel semi straight. It was not straight that entire run. I will tell you that it was about one between 1 and 2, maybe closer to 1 on the steering wheel instead of straight. And I mean, I was like, whatever. If it makes pace, it makes pace. Doesn't want to wreck into the corner, so we'll drive it. And then we flipped it, and I knew that there was going to be 22-ish laps to go when we went back green, and I knew we could get 20 max on a fuel tank. So I knew from there that if you didn't come down and top off, you're going to have to save 2 laps. And I think I realized pretty quickly Millet was trying to do that. And so my goal was to just get a pit stop distance between myself and Gaiman and Millet, and then finally bring it down so that I didn't have to worry about getting caught up in traffic when I pit. And so that worked out. And it was just, I'm sweaty. I'm worn out. Kevin, you've seen my history on road courses. I have not been the greatest. We figured this one out, and we got the win, and I'm 1 away from my goal.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, I'm actually shocked the car was damaged. You were driving it like it was actually still in tip-top condition, but with a slight bent steering wheel, that is quite a shock. And that kind of leads me to another question here. Obviously, you came in barely. We thought you were going to be coming up behind Millet and Gaiman, but then you came out ahead, and then you kind of made it work. So I'm going to ask the question here. With your damage, if Gaiman was able to consistently stay around Hagen, do you think you would have had the ability to be able to hold him off?
I don't think I made a single mistake that last 25 laps, which is honestly out of character for me. Because, I don't know. If he got in front of me, it definitely would have been close. I definitely would have been pushing harder, and I probably would have made mistakes. If he was right there on my bumper, same thing. I would have been pushing harder, and I probably might have made mistakes. But we were about even. I think Millet said we both ran 127 flats. I'll tell you, before this race, the fastest lap I turned on this track was a 128 flat. So I have no idea where the 127 flat came from in the race, but I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, I was doing my best not to make mistakes. I definitely don't know how it would have turned out because obviously it didn't happen, but I like to think that I would have had enough skill behind the wheel not to lose this race.
Hey, pressure makes diamonds, and it showed quite strong there that you found the pace through the pressure. Obviously, there's not much more I can really say about every track you do, because every time I say, what's your outlook on the next track, you go out and try to win it or podium or do something. But we'll ask your thoughts anyway. How is Richmond in your Rolodex? Do you think it's another track we can add another win to the impressive season you've had so far?
Richmond, it depends on the track conditions when we get there. I like it when it's colder. I think everybody likes colder tracks. There's just more grip. But I'm not terrible at it. I know in the past I've had pretty good pace there, so we'll do the same thing. We'll put some work in, and we'll see where we end up. But we're just stacking playoff points, and we're looking for the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs only after tonight, 2 weeks away. Obviously, no question you will be competing in them, bearing connection issues or something. So it's definitely a poise, and definitely are on the course to make the Final Four. Obviously, since Ryan is the guest here, if there's anything he'd like to ask, why don't you go away, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, good race. I mean, I honestly I thought Zach Millet kind of had it, but you had some different strategy, and he had to do a lot of fuel saving to make it to the end. So, did you expect? I guess obviously Millet was bad fast. I mean, you were too. Gaiman, Fetter Place, y'all were the top 4 cars all night. But did you expect to be able to be there with them? And what were you thinking as that strategy played out, and how were you feeling?
When I flipped it, I was thinking clean track makes all your problems go away, and so that was the goal when I flipped it, and I ended up with it. And I knew when I was keeping the car straight and hitting my marks, I was maybe a tenth slower, even the next lap to Millet. So I knew I'd have a shot at it as long as I could put it in clean air or keep it close to him. So I mean, it was just lap after lap telling myself no mistakes and not making them.
It was a great race, buddy, and hell of a win. So good job.
Thank you.
And now pivot to me. Is anyone you want to thank? Family, friends, sponsors, whatever? The floor is yours. Take it away.
I want to thank my beautiful girlfriend for letting me race. We celebrated my 21st this weekend, and it was a blast. And then I went out and did this today, and we went up and won. So it was awesome all around. Shout out everybody at Beatron and CBR, Brayo, Mongold, and Adams at Beatron, and then everybody over there in the CBR camp. We do a lot of colluding and working together to figure out the best way to get around places, and it definitely helps me out week to week. Shout out the A Squared admins, I guess I love this track now, putting this beautiful track on the schedule. Shout out A&M making lobbies and setting up the league. So thank you to them. And shout out y'all at, let me not forget my painters. Shout out John Smeal. He put the Dr. Pepper Bluebell car on the track today. And then Jacob Shangle is my other painter that I run another series. And they're both wonderful and they're both affordable and they're great. So hit them up if you need anything painted. Shout out y'all, Ryan and Kevin in the booth for putting on a wonderful broadcast, and I hope it was a good show.
I mean, honestly, I was going to say that you've been in the victory lane so many times. I think the sponsors may be a little bit okay if you missed them 1 week. But regardless, though, hey, great you love this track. Probably be on the calendar next year, so if you are here next year, definitely going to be a great shout. But obviously, it's been fun talking with you, John, and obviously, I think we'll talk again for the season ends. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
And that was our race winner, John Hagan. So we are going to get on down here and slow on down here. But before we sign off for the evening, Ryan, is there anything you want to add about what happened tonight?
Yeah, just overall a great race. I mean, would have wished the 12 had a little bit better showing, but hey, that's okay. We'll go back to the garage this week and we'll get ready for Richmond. But yeah, just overall a great race. Different strategies, which is something that's always exciting. Seeing some people save and some people that may or may not have enough fuel. That's always exciting. And it was just a joy to be up here. Obviously, next year, more than likely going to be stepping back from full-time racing. So hoping to be in the booth more with you in 2025. I had a blast and loved every second of it.
Well, thank you. Glad you could be able to put up with me as much as others have as well. It's been fun working with you as well, and obviously we have no problem working you again in 2025. Obviously, though, Richmond, short track, definitely will favor you and Carmen's ability. So if Carmen's in the car next week, if you're in the car next week, if someone else is in the car next week, there's definitely going to be a strong performance for that 12. But obviously, with Richmond being a fuel mileage race can be, strategies play out, we're going to see pretty much the same next week. But speaking of Richmond, it is going to be next week here on ABN1 as well. Same time, 7 Eastern. So make sure you tune in for that as the playoffs are coming ever closer to their conclusion. Only 2 rounds remaining before we see the 16 drivers that will compete for a championship. But until then, before we get there, before we get to Richmond, everyone watching, you have a good rest of your week, and you all take care. So thank you for me and Ryan. We're signing off. Thank you, and have a good rest of your evening.